Hey, what's up, guys? Back with another video, and today we're going to be reacting to Saint Tone Test saying that HSR players are completely delusional. And this is going to be very funny because I'm going to call him out on something very interesting. And let's listen to
All
what he
have
has to
been
say.
keeping up with the channel, you'll know that HSR's 3.3 live stream occurred the other day.
Hmm.
And on the same day, we decided to upload a video talking about why it was, I'm going to be honest here, a bit of a
Hmm.
disaster. And so to kind of quickly summarize what was going on, we
Hmm.
only have like 2 new units coming out, a map expansion that looks like, it is what it is. Map expansions in HSR or whatever, because, all of the time it ends up feeling like more of a chore exploring this overworld than it does in like other actual exploration games. We talked about how
Alright, so this is just clearly a biased take. Yeah, if a new map comes out in Winter Waves, it's amazing. We get a new map to explore. If a new map comes out in Honkai Star Rail or Zenless on Zero or Genshin Impact, oh, it's a chore. We have to explore it now. Why are we getting new maps? This is kind of a dumb take from Saint Tontas, but it is what it is. Let's continue.
the new boss, I think it has like a, let's see over here. Yeah, the new boss has like a locked break bar, and so if you pulled Fug You and Super Break, you're kind of just completely screwed fighting it. We
Hmm.
saw the different trailers, or really the gameplay demos of the new units, and it came with some of the weirdest, most off, kind of like the most garbage music that I feel like we've ever seen in the space before. And we also have the whole situation.
And again, that is subjective. That is Saint Tontas' idea. It is what it is. He's a kurobot, so of course he's gonna hate anything that Hoyoverse makes. It's obvious.
Over here, right? With there being only about 2 events in the patch, as well as an expansion to the Divergent universe. I'm gonna have to go change that later. Yeah, 2 events in the patch: a
Hmm.
racing one, a combat one, and then the Divergent universe.
All right, so he hasn't he didn't mention the story at all. In fact, this is kind of weird because Honkai Star Rail actually is continuing progress on the actual main story. What about Wooden Race? Wooden Race hasn't completed. The last live stream from Wooden Race was not main story because it was two side story events and a bunch of mini games. Kind of disingenuous, I think.
All within a 42-day patch,
Mhm.
and then quality of life, like expanding the inventory from 2,000 to 3,000. Stuff that's not really that exciting.
Mhm.
So we can probably tell that this patch overall, not a lot of stuff, and especially coming after the anniversary, which was, one of the most highest grossing months in HSR history with their spending event and casters being completely broken in their global passive. It was disappointing, to say the least. But boy,
Well, it is gonna be disappointing because I think a lot of Kuro players that play Kuro games and don't really play Honkai Star Rail think that because they're gonna come in and be outraged about what Honkai Star Rail is doing is like, yeah, because we are outraged, this means that the whole community is gonna be outraged. Nobody's gonna be spending. These are the people that don't remember that Acheron was a broken freaking unit when she launched, and everybody got her. Sparkle was a broken unit at the time, and everybody got her. Rummy was a broken unit, and did people say, "Oh, I'm not gonna get her because she's broken"? No, they got her because she's broken. So, for these cruel defenders to think that, hey, people are gonna skip casters because I am mad about their game even though I don't play it, that makes no fucking sense. It doesn't make any sense. And you can see this man is very depressed about that situation. Can you imagine that?
oh boy, am I happy or really unhappy to announce that the Honkai Star Rail player base is kind of just in defense mode. One of the claims that I made in this video was that the game is now basically in maintenance. It's not really looking to acquire new players anymore. It's just going to put in more and more and more predatory stuff, more power creep, more broken shit, just to keep selling the newest characters, get people to pull dupes, make the end game even harder and harder, HP inflate even more, to extract as much value as possible out of.
And these are just all speculative claims. There have been no mention that they're going to be increasing to HP or not. There was no mention of that in the game. There is no mention that, oh, we're going to make these units very expensive or something like that. There is a total of calculations that people did with the calculations cycle. They calculated Willow and Waves polls to make it 37 in total. They did that calculations for Honkai Star. And you know how much polls they're getting? 100 plus polls. I think we're getting more polls than Willow and Waves. I know Saint Tontas is not really good at maths given the Maggie situation, but we are getting more pulls. It is what it is.
the existing player base. And I think that's really what's happening. I think
Mm,
that's where the game is going at this point in time. And
mm,
a lot of players were not very happy with this breakdown. They weren't very happy with this opinion. And so what I wanted to do was take you all on an adventure to read some of the comments that got left on this video. You can tell in just 14 hours, 778 is quite a lot.
mm.
Let's get right on into it. So, all I have to do is look up the word event over here, and you'll notice a shit ton of people brigading this comment section, upvoting stuff that is just factually not true. That
Mhm.
doesn't even make very much sense at all. So
Mhm.
let's go ahead. Let's take a look. We got TRUF0. Okay, he looks like a robot. What a clown. LOL, you're the same person who was hyping up the Woo-Wah Annie because the events were peak. Meanwhile, said events, pulling event, dice rolling event, and normal combat, but with cubes instead of echoes. But yeah, bro, 2.3 Woo-Wah was peak content. So
Why did he read Black Man? He got absolutely roasted. But I was a bit pissed off because he didn't react to the comment section of the Honkai Star Rail's live stream. He instead decided to react to his own closed environment to gain a view of what the people are gonna say, and that's really a messed up way to look at it. It would be like if I decided to. You never do this because I'm gonna bring up politics here. Say, for example, the Democratic Party in the United States and the Republican Party. If the Democratic Party sends out the poll and they send out the poll to only the people that they know are gonna vote for them, obviously that kind of comment section is gonna be favored to that Democratic Party. And it's the same thing here. Saint Ontas is looking in his own community, and instead of getting things that are favorite to him, he's now getting things that are unfavorite to him, unfavorite to his belief in his own echo chamber, which makes you question, like, really?
to kind of
That's
like
not how it should
frame this
be.
whole comment and frame this whole scenario with you guys, these individuals are
All right, but let's talk about this really and truly. What he mentioned about that comment was actually true. In the Winter Waves anniversary patch, mind you, we didn't get any story quests, like any main story quests. We got two side story quests and a bunch of mini games and a spending event and a pull system that I have to get up at ridiculously late hours in the night for me to claim so I can use Danzani banner. And that's what's there. And I can't even access things as good as a free to play because it's only 37 pools, and these 10 pools that are locked there are counted in it, and the pools from the events are counted in it. When in Honkai Star Rail, if we don't get that luxury to count the pools from events, and when we do count it, it's in 100 pools. But somehow we are the predatory game. Honkai Star is a bad game by giving 100 pulls, which will guarantee you to at least hit hard pity if you're unlucky and probably get the character or not. Rather than the 37 pulls, it's not even gonna be guarantee you to hit soft pity, to be honest. But it's because Wither and Waves is their favorite game, so they will go through any lengths to defend it.
straight up not even talking about all of the events in the patch. They're straight up minimizing the events that are actually there. They keep forgetting that there's new content like 2 new holograms that were introduced in the first half, and they're also forgetting everything else that's coming in the second half.
Two new holograms. This is kind of a bad take because it's like this stuff happens every time when Genshin Impact has like a story event or something like that. There's a new boss that comes out in the world. This is like saying that you don't know that our patch is good because we got two new bosses. Genshin Impact has a shit ton of bosses. A Honkai Star will always get new bosses. This is like something that's gonna always happen regardless. This is like something, oh boy, oh boy. And I know people are gonna come in and say like that the bosses in Genshin Impact are gonna be easier. The bosses in Honkai Star Rail are gonna be easier and stuff like that. Or you have to pay to win in order to beat the bosses in Honkai Star Rail, and that's bad. If you watch Mr. Pokey, you realize that Mr. Pokey, the reason why they hate him so much is because he he does stuff that goes against the narrative that these whatever race content creators are trying to push. That you have to have the latest unit in order to clear endgame. Mr. Pokey recently did a video with a 1.0 DPSs and clear endgame, the hardest level of MOC, which according to these kurobots will say that it's impossible. I used to think that is very difficult, but it's not difficult. I just realized that the level of investment you need in your endgame team is ridiculously high. It's not unachievable, but it's ridiculously high. Does that mean that it's a bad thing? Not necessarily, because after completing the end game, getting all stars in it, I felt a great sense of accomplishment because it means that I had a great understanding of how my characters work and what I should bring to the table in order to beat the end game. It was very difficult and it was close, but it feels much more rewarding. It's the same thing like if you're playing Wooden Riz and you're playing a hologram. You're gonna feel a lot more reward if the fight was difficult rather than the fight was easy. And it comes to another complaint that I have that you can't please these kurobots, these kuro toxic community, toxic positive community, because no matter what Honkai Star Rail does, no matter what Genshin Impact does, they're gonna always find something to complain about. Always, always.
The patch. This is kind of like, this is the level of intelligence that these individuals have when they're going ahead and they're brigading the comment section. It's close to zero. There's almost none of it at all.
And that's another stupid thing by saying don't test because all right, I know when I make videos negatively putting with a race in a negative light and with a race community in a negative light, I'm gonna get heated and I'm gonna get comments that are rightfully pissed off about it, and that's just part of the game. I understand that, but for this man to be constantly going after Hoyo games in general and expect that there will be no fight back from Hoyoverse players and stuff like that, it's kind of amusing. I'm just saying.
So let's just go ahead. Let's keep reading. I've also got all the receipts and all the glue over here as well. You're hating on HSR for a few events you don't want, while Wooball only got City Board Game and Cube Fighting. BS, man. They act like those were the only two events announced in the patch. Don't worry, we'll get more. Gotta be crazy saying only adding 2 events when this current Woo-Wah patch only added 2 events and literally nothing else at all. Literally.
That is absolutely insane, too. And the worst part about it, and these content creators don't understand the worst part about it, is that this is the anniversary patch. The anniversary patch only added 2 stuff. There was literally so little to do in Wither Waves that the main source of content for Wither Waves was this toxic drama between him and Maggie because he didn't understand how numbers work. And he didn't understand the concept of theory crafting. And theory crafting requires the best team, the most optimal team. No matter what game you're playing, if you're playing a racing game and you need the optimal performance after racing game, the maths will calculate the best driving angles to at the max speed in order to get the best time. But nobody's gonna hit that because that requires robot position. It just shows you what the max potential of the car that you're driving can do. It happens in everything, everything. But somehow he doesn't understand that.
Nothing. 22 upvotes on that one. And one of these event is a dice game with one button. This is the level of defense. This is the level of brigading.
But it is true. It is true. Mind you, I think Snowbird Containment Zone has the same dice event too. So I don't think it's that bad.
that is currently occurring within the community. And this is the thing, there are more comments like that. I only looked up the word event. And so what I wanted to do was just point out how absolutely delusional the brigading is getting over here. These kids, these HSR
It's not delusional, bro. What do you expect, man? Like I said, like when I make videos like these, I expect people to come in and hate. It is what it is. I am putting your name in a bad light. Of course, people are gonna come in and hate about it. It's just it is what it is. And you're surprised that people are gonna be hating on you, especially you know what? I'm not even gonna say it.
shills, these HSR players are literally at the point where I think they understand that their game is actively dying. They understand that the devs really
Give me 1 second, bro. I'm sorry I have to pull this up. Look, bro. This is Honkai Star Rail. This game is what this man says is dying. 103 million. 103 million from a dying game. A 5-year-old game that's older than Wuthering Waves by far is still beating out Wuthering Waves that actually only pulled the same amount of money. Xenozone Zero is beating them too. Well, I can understand that Xenozone Zero is doing way better. But to say that Honkai Star Rail is dying, bro, look at this. Honkai Star Rail. What's this number right here? What's this number one, bro? What are you talking about? And they're moving from third to number one. What are you on? Really? This is insane. This is absolutely insane. Like, bro, Wooden Waves is number seven. It's been maintaining number seven. I think they may get up in revenue probably, but the new patch with the new characters that are coming out, the Obito Sage, Sage of the Six Path, Obito alt character that's coming out, I think they may go up a little bit, but I've never seen them pass 50K ever, and I don't think they ever pass 50K, and that's just the name of the game, bro.
don't care where anything else in terms of development is going for this game. I think they understand implicitly that at this point, they're just cows getting milked by Da Wei, and they don't like it. But instead of actually taking that feedback back to the devs, back to the execs over at Hoyoverse, and then trying to make their game better, they're just going to try to drag every other game down to HSR's level by saying stuff that's just demonstrably, objectively not fucking true at all. So let's
Is it not true? Do Wither Ways right now doesn't have a cube game? Does Wither Ways right now didn't have a main story quest and had two side story quests for characters? Or are we wrong about that? It's kind of interesting, really.
get into this whole claim that Wuwa only added 2 events and literally nothing else.
Hmm.
These guys are, I'm just going to be honest here, they're gifted with extra chromosomes.
Wait. Okay, let's do
You
this.
can see over here,
Okay.
just straight up, if we're looking at the version 2.3
Hmm.
preview, that we have another story event featuring
Again, it's two story events. Two story events, bro. Jesus.
Chona, as well as a whole goddamn new permanent event that is based off the Elusive Realm. That's a new roguelike mode called Dreaming Deep. This is being bundled. This is being bundled aside, of course, this cube event that they're downplaying so much, fully knowing that this cube event is permanent. I'm going to be honest here, this cube event has literally hours of gameplay. It has a permanent co-op.
All right, I'm gonna be honest with this Q event thing. All right, look, I don't like, and this is not to be negative about Withering Ways in particular. This is about every single gacha game, the main ones. I don't like events. I really don't like events, especially events that are not immersive to are not really important to the plot. Like some cube events that is permanent. I don't really care about. Like Jesus, the fact that they're making it long too is just a pain in the ass. I really don't like it. I really don't like it. Trust me. I don't like it in Genshin Impact. I don't like it in Honkai Star. I don't like it in Zenithal Zero. I do not like the TV system in Zenithal Zero when it was out. I do not like this event either. I do not like events like that. I don't think people like events like this. They just tolerate it because the polls are behind this. If this was like this, if this event was here and there was no poll in it, nobody would play it. And that's just the honest truth about it. I don't see there are rewards in it. And this is the same thing for Genshin Impact, Xenozone Zero, Honkai Star Rails. If these events that are not even tied with the actual story progression of the game don't have rewards, we will not play them. Like most of the times I have to look at each event and say, "Cha, I can't bother." Only if like there's a limited like code in Honkai Star Rail will I play that event, or let's put it down the back burner. And the new skins and stuff like that. And it's so painful. It was painful for me to go through the event for I don't remember the story about it with Klee where I had to get the skin for Kiara. And I couldn't even complete the one in Genshin Impact where I there's a skin for Shagling because like it was not voiced and I just couldn't bother doing it because I just didn't feel I just don't like events like this. Limited events and stuff like that. Or this is okay, this is like full time event, but still it's nothing to brag about, man.
Mode with like rankings and leaderboards that you can compete with your friends with. And it also has so much built-in progression with all these cube upgrades with 10 different abilities that you can use. And they're just calling it, oh, you're just using cubes instead of echoes. And that's the thing. None of these guys have actually played this game mode. But all they want to do
But the thing is, it's not fun, bro. Jesus, are you really telling me that you're enjoying yourself? All right, it's similar to the TGC event. Okay, yeah, you have the few people that like it, but I don't like it. I love Yu-Gi-Oh! I really love Yu-Gi-Oh! But I didn't play Genshin Impact to play Yu-Gi-Oh! I didn't play Genshin Impact so I can play Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's the same thing here. I'm not playing Wuthering Waves so I can play a cube event. We are glazing too much here.
is talk shit about it, knowing that
I would much rather them just making a banger main story event rather than putting this in and put all the rewards that we're going to put in this event, which I don't think is a lot, into that main story event.
they have not experienced anything at all when it comes to what is going on. I personally found this game mode incredibly fun. I'm still looking for different ways to experiment with the cubes and just try some new stuff out. And you know what the best thing about all of this? This is the one event that they're saying is complete trash, and they're completely disregarding pretty much everything else. Like we mentioned before, right? There's
Okay, then again, I talk about the tactical argument. This is something that all the other gacha games do, like regardless of if there's if there's an anniversary or not. Once there's a new boss, there are gonna be new challenges with the boss. It's just, it is what it is, man. We can't be counting these things, bro. Come on.
the new holograms. This is all the stuff that's in the first half. One thing I will admit,
What? All right. So since you don't want to talk about this, this is not an event. This is just like a web something. This is just a cube event. This Oh, this was just a gifted something. This is just a cube event. This is a cube event again? What the hell? This is the spreading event. There's really nothing here, bro. Wait,
is that the first
why? Where is that? Where are you finding these things, man? I don't understand, bro.
half could feel a little bit dry for a lot of people, especially if they played a lot
Oh yeah, so that is a thing that's a lot behind the. That is a Genshin Impact copy. This is
of the cube event
that is a cube event.
really fast, like I did. However, there's going to be new stuff coming in just 3 days. And of course, all of this stuff that we just took a look at over here, Dreaming Deep, Your Summer Will Never Wither, all of that, that's all coming in the second half. And the best part about
But fam, that's only two things, bro. Doesn't this add to the point that what they're saying is true? It's like only two story event and just this one new permanent event mode, this dreaming deep mode. That all right, I can frame it better. There's the only thing that is of any real importance in this live stream in this patch is the two story events, the side story events, and this new permanent mode. We can disregard everything else. Like everything else is just filler. And that's just the bottom line of what people are saying here. For anniversary event, if Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, or whatever as on Zero does this on an anniversary event, I am sure there will be a lot of outrage from these cruel defenders about it, about a game that they're not playing.
All of this is that this is what Dreaming Deep is actually supposed to look like. It has a fully fleshed out UI with three or maybe even four different little quests you can go on. You go ahead. Let's just play it in the background. Yeah, you have all these different things. You like progress on like a board. You do all of that. You move across on tiles. You have teammates that you can select and recruit. This is how fully fleshed out this game mode is, and it's permanent, just like the Cube event. This anniversary literally introduced two.
Oh, please don't tell me that's a TV event. I don't want to know that that's a Zone Zero TV event. It looks like it. Oh my god, no. Mm, Jesus, please help me. Why? Why are we glazing this, man? Jesus. It looks like a TV event.
Permanent game modes. And people are saying that there's literally nothing in it. People are saying that it's absolute trash, that there's no replayability at all, that there's no content. In what universe is two permanent game modes in one patch, no content? You quite literally have to be absolutely.
Because it's not important, bro. Like, Jesus. Alright. There's a lot of events that come out in Honkai Star Rail. Like side event mini games. I don't count any of them as important to the plot at all. Really, I don't. If and I've done this before, and there are times that this happen. Like in Genshin Impact, if there's just a story event or two story event by characters, we will call it a dead patch. Yeah, there are two story events, but we just call it a dead patch because there's nothing that is actually progressing in the game that is of actual meaning. Yes, the story can be good, where it can be a fleshing out of a character, specific character, and that could be the case here for Wooden Ways, but we don't really count it like that. That's in reality what we in Genshin Impact call a dead patch, a saving patch, a patch that we don't really care too much about it. A patch where we can just spend some time to relax because like nothing really that important is happening. And that's just what's happening here in Withering Waves. The only bad thing about it is that this dead patch is landing on the anniversary itself. So in all fairness, it looks very bad because there's nothing. See, there's nothing really big that's happening for returning players. For the new players, it will be okay because they'll have to sit through all of the old story that is absolutely terrible. But for the people that are constantly playing and up to date with the game, there's really not much to do, honestly. And that's just the reality of it. But many of these content creators do not want to mention this. The patch is so dead that they have to be releasing leaks in order to keep the community alive. That's wonderful.
delusional for this to be the take that you have. But let's be honest here. These HSR players that are going in mass brigading YouTube comment sections, upvoting stuff that literally doesn't make any sense at all, and pretending that the first half of a patch's events are going to be the only events in the patch. Why? How? This is the response to people simply literally calling out that there.
So we're saying to that, are you saying that there is going to be a main story quest in Winter Waves that we did not know about? Are you saying that? Are you saying that there gonna be significant progression in this event that they did not talk about? Really? Because as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing important happening in Winter Waves right now. Or am I missing something? Are we? Is there something major that's happening in Winter Waves? Really? I don't see anything that's happening in Winter Race right now that I don't think I can put down and come back and complete in the next patch. Really and truly. I don't see anything there that's worth anything there that I feel like if I don't play the game, I'm gonna miss out on this amazing story quest. I don't see it. It's just not there. So what are you on about by saying that these comments are invalid? Fam, really.
Patch objectively only has 2 with a Divergent Universe update. And so what they're going to do is just straight up, literally.
Your audio is going there, my friend. That's not good. What's coming out in Honkai Star Rail, the next patch? We're getting 2 new characters. We're getting a main story quest. Mind you, a main story quest. Even though it's long, even though they're gonna yap like no tomorrow, it is a main story quest. We're getting update in the Divergent universe. We're hmm, And the worst part about it is not even an anniversary patch. This patch, I would like to say it should be a dead patch for Honkai Star Rail. I wish it was, but it's unfortunate that it won't be because as an Acheron main, Cypher coming out, I'm gonna want Cypher because Cypher is gonna be an upgrade to Black Swan. I can slot her into the Black Swan position that I have for my Acheron team. And Hyacinth is going to be the best in slot healer for casters, which I have. So, and then the fake collab is coming right around the corner with that wind destruction, which is a slot that I'm missing on my rosters of DPSs that I have. I don't have a wind destruction unit yet. So, hmm, I don't know if I can say that they're at a similar level. And I don't think it is a similar level. I think Honkai Star Rail patch is more important because of the fact that there's actual progression in the story coming out in Honkai Star Rail. There's more rewards, more polls, which is insane to say compared to Mr. Wooden Rays over here. And there will be more content. A divergent universe is something that is huge, really and truly. But it is what it is. And if we are gonna be out here and trying to say that what Honkai Star Rail is gonna be delivering is a dead patch, I think it's even worse for Wither Waves. It's a much more dead patch because nothing really important happened in this update, honestly. And in Honkai Star Rail, there's something very important that's gonna happen, which is what we call story progression, actual story progression. We're not getting that in Wither Waves right now. So how are we saying that this is not a dead patch and this is just like a mini game patch? This is a mini game patch because, as I said, whenever this happened in Genshin Impact, even me, rightfully so, say it is a dead patch. A lot of Genshin Impact content creators they say it's a dead patch with these story quests in the patches. I never seen a Genshin Impact content creators say that it's not a dead patch because we have a story quest. We don't even see story quests as something that is important other than a story progression of a character or something like that. we never really count that as too much of content. We only count content when there's actual progression in the story. It's quite ironic that the standards for Wither Waves are so low that we are willing to count minigames as progression of story.
Lie. They're just going to lie about what's in Wuwa and pretend that there isn't a second half to the patch. And I'm gonna be real here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna be
Wait,
real.
wait, but what is in the second half of the patch? Because you counted the two story quests, and if I'm not mistaken, the only story quest that's available right now is Horsani. The other girl's story quest is locked on the second half, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just the other like minigame event that is gonna come out. It's just those two things that are gonna happen in the second half. You're making it sound like there's like a half of the patch is on the other half. It's not the case. Majority of the patch is already out in Wither Waves. The only two things that are missing, as I said, is that new mini game that they're coming out with and a new end game. It's not easy the end game. I'll, you know what? I'm gonna check it out and see what it is about when it launches. But it's not really anything that I can. You can't. The Wooden Wave community with Glees anything really, so I don't put it past them.
Real. I wasn't the most. I was pretty harsh in my review of HSR, but I was harsh with that review because the game has progressively been getting worse ever since patch 2.6 with a dog shit story, dog shit satisfaction, bad events, no real meaningful updates to anything except the HP of enemies in the endgame. And I'm gonna be real here. I think a lot of people
This is just an ignoramus way of thinking. There's a lot of things that happen. I think Honkai Star Rail was that what was the mainstream gacha game that made selector, relic selector, main stat selector, and substat selectors. Honkai Star Rail did that, my friend. Honkai Star Rail has done a lot of good besides HP inflation on the bosses. And although these negative complaints coming from Wither Waves content creators and from some actual players, Honkai Star Rail devs are listening to the complaints of these players and are trying to figure out some way to balance it. And I think that's absolutely fair. The criticisms that the Wither Waves community make on Honkai Star Rail will only do one thing and one thing only. It will only make Honkai Star Rail better because it will be better for. I don't understand that. There are people out there like Saint Dontas that have skill issues when it comes down to clearing end game and stuff like that, and I completely understand that. And its community, I completely understand that. So if we have to make the game a little bit more easier for the mentally disabled people like Saint Dontas in order to play the game and be able to be good at it, I think it is okay. It is more than okay to make an easy mode. And we just call this easy mode in MOC. We just call that easy mode name Saint Tontas. And that mode is basically there for the Saint Tontas followers that are tourists when it comes down to Honkai Star Rail that only comes on and don't really understand the mechanics of the characters and the mechanics of the bosses and what is really required in order to beat the bosses and stuff like that. I think that would be a great help for people like Saint Otas who are struggling with Memory of Chaos and other endgame modes. So, which have skill issues. I think it's very good for people like them, honestly.
are feeling the same. What happens when a game just goes downhill like HSR has is that every single player ends up leaving unless they're super dedicated to the game. Unless they are one of the game's like top players, either in spending or just shilling. And that means that as you start filtering more and more and more of the general populace, the only people remaining are basically just going to be freaks. That's just how it is. The only people that you're going to have left in the
I think that is gonna be happening. I wanna check something real quick. Okay, so we're on the live stream of Honkai Star Rail, and I want to check out some things. I want to check out the comment section in particular to see what the people of Honkai Star Rail are thinking right now. Because I'm curious to see like okay, so yeah, this is the thing that I don't like. Honkai Star Rail has been spoiling the story for a while, and it's just oh my god, it's just so bad. Stop doing that, Honkai Star Rail, because I want to watch the live stream, and if the live stream starts off with you spoiling the events, it's just my god, they need to fix that. The first one was just talking about spoilers. The second one was talking about codes. This one, you will walk with greed and die over petty change. You will die with a blade in your back. Your soul will be shattered into 1,000 pieces and wither on a foreign shore. Okay, okay, Shakespeare. Oh my God, man, come on, man. Okay, absolutely adore Cypher's VA. So this is talking about enjoying Cypher's VA. Finally seeing Dang Angle. Again, another spoiler. Jesus Christ. Two things. Why is everyone that? Stop spoiling. So it's just good to know there's intent. Okay, so I don't. Where is this outrage that he's talking about? I am not seeing the outrage this bro is talking about. I still don't see the outrage he's talking about, bro. Fam, fam, fam. I have seen zero outrage about this patch being terrible, about this being bad, about I'm gonna quit Honkai Star Rail. I'm literally finding no comments of that. Let's look at, by the way, let's look at Wither Wave's live stream right here. Let's compare and contrast. And we're gonna do this live. I don't want you to think that I'm cherry picking anything. And this is the actual live stream. Yeah, 1 hour long. Screw your ads. Having more screens tab here than the entire game. I don't think that is too bad. Leakers are about to get jumped. Some people. I didn't even claim these codes. Screw that. I accept now having a free 5 star, but they could have least 100% guaranteed the anniversary banner. Player anniversary, devs anniversary. I'm going to hunt those who say that there's a free 5 star character. I swear, but anniversaries should not be a 50-50. So you see the difference between these two communities. In Wither Waves community, there are people actually voicing the problems that they're having with this live stream, and on the HSR side, there is literally none. The only bit of outrage that is coming from the toxic community of these people that are gathered by Saint Tontas and Tectone and others that are just festering this -8 on a game that having problems that are not really a problem to a majority of people. I used to look at Honkai Star Rail's endgame, the Memory of Chaos, as a really difficult thing, and I noticed that the reason why it was difficult is because I was not properly using my units and building my team toward endgame. I do have a problem that the difference between endgame and story is ridiculously high, but after investing a decent amount into my units, I realized that I was able to clear the end game. It was a little bit challenging, and because it was challenging, it made the end game, beating the end game, feel a lot better. It made the end game feel like this was done because I highly invested in my units and I had a deep understanding on how to play the game and stuff like that. If the end game in Memory of Chaos in Honkai Star Rail in particular was just easily added out to every Jack, Jill, and Dandy that comes into the game, then there would be no point for the end game anymore. To give an analogy, you ever have a game that you play, like say for me example, say you have a car game that you're playing. If you have all cash in the car game, you're gonna have no reason to do any races because your reason for races is to get money so you can upgrade your cars and stuff like that and progression. But if you have all the money in the game already, there is no point for you to progress in the game. There's no point for you to race because you already have all the money you want, so there's no reason to race. And that is the problem. That is the thing that Honkai Star is trying to implement. Is trying to make sure that the game is a little bit difficult. That way, there is a goal for you to reach. And this is great life advice as well. If you already have everything in life, there will be no point for living because everything in life that you could say is a goal that you want to reach is easily attainable by money. That's all I'm saying. Let's continue. Taking back a little I gave before the stream started, amazing job. So this is a good one. This is somebody that actually feels good about this. The Winter Race plus Cyberpunk Gunner Edge Runner is truly an unexpected collab. This one is actually a good coming too, and there is not much difference from what normal patches. This is something that I have complained about too. And to see this being complained about with somebody else that there is not much different but the normal patches, that's the problem is. It's an anniversary patch, fellows. It's not a normal patch. The anniversary patch should not feel like a normal patch. Worse, it should not feel worse than patches before. Because the patches before feels much more diverse, much more rewarding than what is given right now. And that just doesn't put a good taste in the mouth to people that are playing the game that are not inside this old drama place that don't know all that's happening. Thank you for implementing my first feedback from 1.0. Instant world boss respawn from field interactable. This is I can't believe Genshin Impact did this first. What the hell? That's As a free-to-play player who constantly loses on 50-50, this is such a pain, not gonna lie. And he's mentioning the banners not being a 50-50 guarantee. And even some of the Wooden Waves content creators mentioned it that if the first one was a guarantee, it would make it a lot better. And I absolutely agree with them. They could have kept it the way it was and just made the first one a guarantee. That would be much better than what they did. And if they were gonna give a free 5 star, then at least make the selector banner guarantee. You were supposed to destroy the SITH, not join them. And what he's mentioning is Genshin Impact. We are supposed to be better than Genshin, not doing the same things that Genshin Impact is doing. And honestly, they are doing exactly what Genshin Impact were doing at the time before, which is just not a good take. And it's something that I worry about because I want Wuthering Waves to succeed. Because if Wuthering Waves succeed, Genshin Impact is gonna see Wuthering Waves as a threat, and Genshin Impact will keep on their toes. But if Wuthering Waves fail, then there's will be no reason for Genshin Impact to try because Wuthering Waves is going down the drain, and I don't necessarily want that. There are some cool things for sure, but the rerun banner is very underwhelming for the first anniversary event. I wouldn't mind not having a free limited 5 star selector if the rerun banner was 100%, but making it 50-50 is pretty trash to be honest. So that's another complaint about it. As a PS5 player, I'm kind of sad. I missed the free Zhang Liao's Sai. Also, no optimization for PlayStation, but still great game. Literally, the went to the luxury restaurant and got served instant noodles with egg experience. Well, the classroom, I guess. So it's basically a meme that there's gonna be outrage because of this. I didn't claim these anniversary rewards, honestly. Damn. As someone who genuinely loved this game, I can't defend the rewards we are getting while having a selector banner. I hope this improves. Now, to be fair, let's look at something else. I'm gonna look at something in the past. Honestly, I'm gonna look at the anniversary live stream, the 3.2, the anniversary live stream. I want to see what the comment sections are if people had complain about it. Well, they really said let's just slap every single part onto castrations. Okay, so that those are codes. Google I'm shaking in the boot. If I'm skipping through it, I'm just skipping through all the good ones. I'm just trying to find something that is like negative. Okay, so this is something that I can finally get Romy after losing my 50-50 on her own banner and on her rerun. So this is something that I mentioned in the past before when people were outraged that the characters that you get to select are Romy and Lord and that everybody already owns Lord Romy, so there's no need to get Romy. And that's just a bad take because not everybody's gonna get lucky. People are gonna lose their 50-50. I lost my 50-50 for Romy to get her E1 two times. I finally got her E1. I don't even have her Lycon yet. And there are people that have lose to getting Romy. And it is what it is. Not everybody have the same luck. Nahida is a broken character in Genshin Impact for Dentro. And she rerun around four times. She come up around four times, and I guarantee you, I've lost every single one of them. Every single one of them. I've never won a Nahida banner. I think the last one came up, I had a guarantee, and I was like, fuck it, because I just have so much bad luck with Nahida that I just say, all right, the game clearly knows that she's one of the broken units, and the game just clearly knows that they just don't want to give me that unit. So I understand the sentiment, and many people think that, yeah, you're gonna get into situations where same and see it's not even him alone. Same. Some saying how because some get lucky, but it does happen. And for this to be something that came out in the anniversary, I think a lot of people were okay with it. And there were a lot of people that were shitting on Honkai Star because they mentioned that there's going to be a free force 5 star that's coming out in 5.4, but they're not talking about it. And now we understand why, and it's because it was out of fake collab, so they couldn't mention it. But also, I understand why they mentioned it that they're going to be a free 5 star because if people think that this 5 star selector, which costs currency, was the replacement of the free 5 star that they should be expecting, then people would have been outraged and saying there would have been titles saying that getting Honkai Star is now making you have to pay for the free 5 star that you should be getting. And that's what the titles would have been for these videos. Honestly, it's just not good. I have no idea how they intend to buff Saber Wolf. Just okay. So this is I'm trying to find negative comments. I'm trying to find negative comments. Give me a second. Um, Okay, this is another person that is excited to get roommate for free. We're just gonna describe how happy I am right now. Okay, this is a negative one, and this is about buy packs and give us money as an event. It's crazy. So this is a bad thing. Yes, this is a spending event in Honkai Star Rail. So that is another one. Bro, I didn't expect the launcher to be free. Okay, so there's a lot of people that are very happy about this, even though we have people that are. I'm trying to find the negativities really, but there is global passive, another one. Okay, so the negativity in this chat is not as high as it was in the Wooden Race comments. And it's just a statement to show that these Wooden Waves people, the ones that are like overly defending the game, even though it may feel overwhelming to people that are actually have concerns about winning ways and are worried about the future and where they're going. Just know that it's just a small community of the ex disgruntled Genshin Impact players that are trying to find any reason to hate on Genshin Impact because Genshin Impact has done them a lot of bad. And rightfully so, Genshin Impact has done them a lot of bad. But I think many of these people that are outraged, many of these people that are cult following Tectone and others, they are not thinking for themselves. Like, I'm gonna be honest, and this is gonna be revealing. I used to watch Tectone. I used to be subscribed to Tectone for a long time. I stopped subscribing to Tectone when I see what it did with MTash. And maybe I have to get into that video one of these days, but I look at it because I did play Wither Ways because of Tectone and stuff like that. Because he said that this is a really good game, we should all play it. And I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. I play it. At some point, I realized that I don't hate Genshin Impact. I do still enjoy Genshin Impact. I do enjoy the fact when I go into Genshin Impact and I go into my favorite area and the OTS of the music, and I just sit down there and just enjoy the music while I think about what I'm gonna spend my resin on and stuff like that. Min pick if I have to. Like, you should make a decision if you like a game or not based on your own thoughts and what you feel for a game and not what people say you should enjoy. Because at the end of the day, your life is your life, not their life. You shouldn't make me come on the internet and say you shouldn't play Wuthering Waves. Nor have I ever said that people should drop Wuthering Waves and stuff like that. For the most part, I come in and I talk about things that the games are doing bad, regardless if it's Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact, Zone Zero, Winter Waves, because I want to see them improve in these areas, and if they can improve in these areas, they can be best game in their own regard, and that's it is what it is. As I you can say that I'm a Hoyo shell all you want. I was very, very rootless on Zone Zero with the TV system. Very ruthless. And I say I give flowers where flowers is due. Where Zenith Zero is right now is very, very good. The storytelling is amazing. The balance of the game is amazing. Everything is amazing. And another last thing I want to cover is that the many people that are hate brigading on Maggie saying that power creep is not in Winter Waves, it is. Because the main source of power creep is when a unit comes out that's stronger than the previous unit, and that has happened in Winter Waves. It doesn't matter that he can clear the end game with Dang Xing, 4-star character, regardless. The mere definition of power creeps means when a character comes out that's specifically stronger than the previous unit. And it's worse because this means that every other unit that's gonna come out after Zani and Cantilia has to be at their level and higher. And that's how power creep works. Now, there's either two things that are gonna happen. Given that Wither Waves is quote unquote a hardcore game, they're either gonna have to buff the HP of the enemies, and I am gonna be very shocked to see what they're gonna say about this. What are these kurobots gonna say about this when this happens? Mark my words.